.78 FM, positive vibes with wisdom. Just want to make sure I'm coming through clear. Let's do it again. 78.6 FM, positive vibes with wisdom. Hey, I'm back another Saturday. For all of my fellow residents here in Yomitan, it has been an off and on rainy, not rainy day. It's been kind of a combination. I drove in this morning to the gym. It was nice, warm. The sun looked like it was coming up over the horizon. And as I'm leaving the gym, it's raining. Clouds came out of nowhere. But now it's kind of like an in-between, nice, warm with sprinkles, scattered sprinkles right now here in Yomitan, Okinawa. Good morning, Ohio gozaimasu to all of my friends listening here in Yomitan Village and abroad outside of the village. If you're tuning in, thank you so much for tuning in this morning to be here with me and to spend this next 40 minutes or so. Hey, guess what? What are we talking about this week? Last week I had a really good time on the topic, throwing a thumb ball around, and on the topic of stop performing leadership and be a leader. A subject that was very much inspired by one of my friends, mentors, and teammates, a Dr. Jason Womack. And I can't tell you how much I appreciate you, Dr. Womack, for that information and for the post and putting that out there in the universe for us to take in and to disseminate as such, right? I flipped the message last week for a class we had, one of the leadership courses that we were teaching at my day job. You know, I don't talk about the day job too much, but at my day job, we're teaching a leadership course, and I really loved putting that out in the universe. Like, hey, this is something you really need to take with you, especially with our force changing over the next however many months, years, etc. With the changes, we have to change, right? And forgive the glasses if you're tuning in from, YouTube land. What happens is I'm using transition lenses. I need to go ahead and get my regular ones for this show. But my transition lenses are a little darker. So I guess because of a little bit of light, it has my transition lens a little dark. I'm not trying to be cool on the air. This is real. It's really happening. What's going on? So I got to say thank you to all the folks who have done some great things, right? Have a really cool opportunity next week to speak with Trainers Warehouse. Very excited to speak with Trainers Warehouse. We're going to talk about how I use the thumb ball that you guys normally see when I'm throwing it around, just to throw some questions at myself, conversation starters, how we use that in the classroom. We're going to talk about that with Trainers Warehouse next week. It's a whole 30-minute segment from what I'm tracking. I got to wake up my time at midnight for this thing, or 1 o'clock in the morning, for this thing. But I'm still excited. I'm really excited to do it, to support, especially to the team who has supported all of our sessions up to this point, all of our trips, all of our opening sessions. Sue Landay and team at Trainers Warehouse have been amazing. Even to the event that we had recently with our team coming from all over the region, her team was still able to contribute, found time for us. So of course, I will stop time for Sue and the team and her audience and community to make sure we highlight the tools that we use to be successful here in our mission, right? As a career advisor, development advisor, facilitator, teacher, with my goal, of course, to be to educate, encourage, and inspire anyone and everyone that I can. I just want to say thank you for the folks who contribute, support, encourage what we do. You may not realize it, but it's been a couple of years. This month, July, I'm celebrating my 5th year. Haven't done it yet, but I will be celebrating my 5th year here in FM Yomitan. 5 years, which is amazing, right? I came in here in 2000 that summer, and it was heart of COVID. You know, we're wearing masks, training. We had to be distanced from each other, going through the radio training. But now I get to celebrate 5 years doing this, being a part of this, and contributing to this community conversation. So for all the folks that we can see driving, thank you so much if you're listening. Thank you so much for the encouragement. Thank you so much for the support, the love when I see you in the community, when I go to my favorite places like the Zampa Lighthouse, Gala, even to the Family March and whatever here. You know, all those people who show so much love. Atabi's, my favorite restaurant right here inside of the island. All of the people that show all that love to everything that we've been doing over the past 5 years. And thank you. Thank you so much. I'll have a wonderful conversation this morning with a teammate who was talking about how to build something from nothing and how to turn what you're passionate about into not just your mission, but your future. Don't just stop where you're at. How to turn it into something more, how to do more, be more, become more, and turn your passion into your career. And it was a wonderful conversation right before this, right? And again, I always get here at the heat of the moment, right before the show starts. Come in here, log in, jump on, right? But it was a great conversation. So I want to send a shout out to Terrell, who is also here in northern Japan, right? Mainland, doing what I'm doing here, not on the radio, but taking care of business up there and loving on his community. So many people to say thank you for. Dr. J.W. Womack, thank you. Sue Landay, thank you. Mark Tilsher, thank you. Juan Martinez, thank you. Everybody who came in, if I'm forgetting anyone, thank you for making sure that everything that I've been doing over the past couple of months has been grounded in love and helping me meet the mission of educating, encouraging, and inspiring. Today, we're going to be just really kind of freeloading. I'm heading out. What am I doing? Today, I'm getting out of here, and once I leave this location, this booth, I'm getting on a plane, and I'm heading over to Miyakojima again. If you guys don't know, there's a couple of places I go just to get away, right? You can find me at the Lighthouse. I said Lamp House. You can find me at the Lighthouse here in Zampa. You can find me in Gala. You can find me in Iijima, and you can find me in Miyako, right? These are places that I'm always going to be. Especially when it's so accessible. You don't have to jump over hurdles or hoops to get there. It's very accessible. And I'm realizing this morning that I'm really excited. Like, my mind is already there, right? I got to bring it back. I practice and I teach being present, but my mind is gone. Like, I'm already excited about getting on a plane, getting to Miyako, getting to my hotel room, getting settled. I always take another shower too when I get off the plane. Taking another shower, walking outside, looking at the view, sitting on the little chair, and just taking it all in. In the United States, it is the 4th of July weekend, Independence Day, right? And the people are doing the fireworks celebrations. I saw some folks on the yacht yesterday celebrating here on the island. It's cool to do what they do. But for me, I'm taking this break, and I'm taking a break away from everything. I'm disconnecting from the noise, the blocking it all out, to the people trying to do other things, and the invitations to do stuff here locally. I want to just separate myself from it and focus on what I have coming up next. Who's going with me, what it looks like, what the plan needs to look like to get there. You know what they say, it's not how you start, it's how you finish. Right now, we have a lot of visions, a lot of great things. Grateful for the upcoming trip to the Inspire Conference. Grateful for the upcoming trip to teach at SOCOM. Grateful for the invitation to the 7th Air Force to go teach resilience. All of these things are beautiful, brilliant, amazing, and wonderful opportunities to give back. And I'm so excited to be a part of this right now. The momentum is moving, but I would be remiss to go, and not pause, take a break, breathe, look at it, plan it, make sure I'm taking the right action steps to get to what's about to happen. Pay attention to who's going with me. Make sure those communications the communication is there. Making sure that the plan is right. So the day job, I'm leaving it here. The trip this weekend is for me to focus in on everything that is coming, everything that is an opportunity ahead of us. And I'm also in that window now, if you guys know, that I got like a year to really do some serious planning for myself, my family, myself, my personal life. So I really need to kind of take this last little break for a minute and just reset. My son, my namesake, first legacy out the door, is stationed now in Misawa, mainland Japan. So my big boy is up the street. I can't wait to see him. I'm going to make that trip Labor Day weekend to go hang out with him and spend some time. I'm really excited about seeing his story. He's the first one out, right? And seeing his story, seeing what he does with his life, with his story, with his movie, as you will. So many things are happening right now. And to be able to look at it all and say, okay, this is where I'm at. Be present. Pay attention. Be grateful. Respect the journey. Understand the journey. Reflect on the journey. And keep moving. As Dr. King said, I might not fly, but I can run. I might not run, but I can walk. I might not walk, but I can crawl. But whatever I do, I need to keep moving, right? I'm paraphrasing it just to put it out in the universe, but I know that there's things that I need to do right now for myself to make sure that the road ahead of me is a good one, right? Or the rest of it is a good one. So some of these convos, man, have been tough. Y'all didn't tell me that these conversations be so tough when you kind of get firm on your goals, your dreams, your mission, and what you're trying to accomplish. Nobody told me that when I'm trying to talk to someone about what I really want for myself, my passion, my dream, for me, how other people have their own, purpose and how they have their own perspective to the point where sometimes it may not align with what you're trying to deliver. Right? I had some really serious, tough convos recently, and I'm teaching tough conversations, so I'm game for it. I'm ready for it. And I'm really approaching these as me. I'm not trying to be anybody other than who I am because I don't want to be a fraud. I don't want to be fake. I don't want to be misrepresenting myself when I'm having these conversations. So I'm very transparent. I'm not in the game of being business-minded. I'm not in the game of trying to waste anyone's time. So I'm very transparent in these conversations I've been having. And some of these conversations that, you're starting to talk about location, money, what is the other one? Location, money, contracts, like some real serious combos, right? LLCs, business models. I mean, there's another word that, it's not range, it's not capacity. There's another word that was introduced into the conversation last week. I'm like, oh, this is getting real. Right. But I love it because these are things that a few years ago, I had no idea what it sounded like, no idea what the definition was, no idea that these conversations were so important, no idea that fighting for your dream, fighting for your vision that you have for yourself is so significant. A lot of people that I'm around, right, a lot of people that I've worked with, a lot of people that I grew up through the ranks with, they make decisions based on other people's decisions. What I'm saying is they go to the same class, they get the same indoctrination, they get the same viewpoints, they get the same perspectives. And so their walk into the next chapter is always aligned with something someone else did. I'm trying to get away from that. Like if I can say that with the utmost passion and the utmost sincerity, I don't want to do what anybody else did. A young lady in a recent conversation said, there's $3 trillion out there for what you do. Go get some of that. I'm not thinking about the money. I'm thinking about the impact. I'm thinking about the people whose lives I can change. I'm thinking about who needs to hear the message that we're bringing. I'm thinking about how to make sure the messaging is relevant. I'm thinking about who can help me build to be to where I need to be in what are we in right now, 2025? Well, I need to be in 2026. So I'm grateful for these conversations. I'm grateful for the people who are taking time to help me have a clear vision and a clear map of where and what I need to do to get to that next level. Because when I started, and I'm going to tell that story in the next segment, when I started, I didn't have that. When I started a few years back with this same vision, same fire, same passion, I didn't have the same support that I do now. I didn't have the same encouragement that I do now. I didn't have the same circle that I do now, right? And I still test new things. I still test people. But things have changed significantly. And I'm excited about the change. It's not a bad change. It's not change that hurts anybody. It's all change that was important to whatever comes next. But these are things that I had no idea I needed to do for myself, for my dream, for my passion, for my vision, moving forward until now. And so it's really important to align yourself with the right people. I'm going to talk about that in a second. It's really important to take time for yourself to reevaluate. It's really important to not get stuck in what everyone else is doing. It's really important to build your dream and live your dream. And we say this all the time. We talk about this throughout the last couple of years. I know I've shared chasing dreams, vision boards, chasing, being all in on your goals, how to get there, reverse engineer. We talk about all of these things. But today I'm being very candid, very transparent about, some of the things that I experienced and some of the things that I think took a lot out of me for a second, where it kind of makes it real easy to fall in line with what everyone else is doing when you don't have enough energy and a support system around your goal and dream. We'll be right back after this break. 78.6 FM, Positive Vibes of Winston. .6 FM, Positive Vibes of Winston. Today we're talking about living your dream, not anybody else's. And the question is, whose dream are you living? That's the very first question I want to ask you. Whose dream are you living? Are you living your dream? Are you living the dream that you always wanted for yourself? When you were that kid in high school, when you were that kid in college, what was the vision you had for yourself? Who did you see yourself becoming? What did you see yourself doing? Are you living that dream? Or are you living the dream and vision that someone else and the plan that someone else had for you? If you're living the plan that someone else had for you, how happy are you in that plan? And there's a lot of people that are living someone else's dream, living someone else's vision, living someone else's goals for them, but not their own. It's kind of like when you get stuck in that mentorship loop, right? Where the mentor wants what's best for you, but they're really projecting on you. And when you take a step back and reflect on it, you're like, that's not really what I want for myself. And they're telling me this is the road I need to take, but this road isn't the road I want to take. And it's actually not leading to the finish line I want. And a lot of people don't realize this until they've done all the work. They've gone through the degrees, the certifications, the journey, and then they get to the other end of it and like, this isn't even what I wanted. I have people right now that I coach that tell me that they got degrees based on what someone else said was important, but when they actually got through the journey on their own, they realized that degree was a waste of time, or they're trying to change the degree midway through because that passion did not align with the degree that they had. And a lot of times people don't think about these things, man. Who is it that's influencing you? Is it a relative, a family member, a friend, that person that you trust? And why did you go to that person in the first place? Did you go because they're doing something significant that you see yourself doing? Or is it because in your eyes that person is successful? Now, I'll tell you a quick story about following someone because they seem successful. So I'm on a Zoom call. This is a real conversation. I had a whole vision for myself. This was 2022. I'm talking about retirement. It's January, I believe, of 2022. It might have even been the last quarter of 21. I just remember setting up a Zoom call with somebody who everyone around me considered to be successful. I didn't know much about this person, but everyone around me considered this person to be successful. So everyone around me drove me to call this person. And they like, call him. Hey, man, he's going to give you some great stuff. Call him. He's going to hook you up. Bam. I said, okay, cool. I don't know what to do, but I'll call. Emailed, set up a Zoom meeting. We sat down, and he jumps in. I'll tell him a little bit about myself, what I wanted to do at this time, at that place, without the experience, knowledge, or understanding truly fully of what I needed. I jumped into that convo like, hey, help me. And so my man on the Zoom, and I can remember like it was yesterday. I even recorded this convo, but I believe I deleted it since then. I remember it like yesterday. He was trying to sell me his products, stuff that he was engaged in, stuff that was in his realm of responsibility, not doors, opportunities, options, things to consider. It was really, hey, if you really want to be successful, I try to tell some other people this. They didn't trust me, but hey, sign up for this. So I look into what he told me to sign up for based on just where I was, who I was, and what I was trying to do. Had nothing to do with what I was trying to do for myself. But again, everyone else around me considered this person to be successful in the business that I wanted to get into. So I'm listening. I'm like, okay, let me go ahead and follow up and do the research. But I did the work myself. I didn't just blindly trust. I did the work myself. I also understood from that conversation that I overshared. And that's something in the outside industry, right? Where I have a very safe job. But in the outside world, certain things you don't do or say in business because people can take your ideas and cut you out of them. And I realized that throughout the next year or so, some of the concepts that I shared were sprinkled into this person's portfolio. And it broke my heart. I mentioned it on Facebook and everything because I was very trusting, very open, and I went out there like, hey, help me. Because the way I grew up, when you're seeking a mentor, that's telling someone that you trust them with their time or trust them with your time. You trust them with your vision, and you want to trust someone. And I went out there, and I'll tell you, I got crushed. But I'll tell you what that taught me when I got crushed. It taught me a couple of things, and that's what you always want, right? What was the lesson? The lesson was, A, make sure you understand your vision before you go into those conversations. Understand what you're trying to say and what you need from it. You know, as EQ will show you, my needs, their needs, and the goal, right? The three pieces of the puzzle. So I understand what I want from these conversations going in, what I need to hear, what I want to hear. And then also understand what that person's role is, what they're responsible for giving me in these conversations. I get it 100%. But I also know what the end goal is, what the final piece of this puzzle is, what it needs to look like at the end, what information the whole goal and purpose of this conversation from the first go. I'm walking into a lot of these conversations selfishly. And it's not even, I'm not even going to sugarcoat it. It's selfish because I need to get this figured out. Me. And I also understand that these people are actually volunteering their time, and their time is money. So if I have their time, I need to make the most of it. Then I also understand that at the back end, that third piece of the puzzle is I have to make these conversations count. And also listen now from what I learned from that first experience of what I'm putting on the table. I'm not putting all my cards on the table until I know that your interests align with mine. Or unless I know that you are trying to encourage what I'm trying to build. Or I know there's a guarantee that you can't take my concepts, cut me out, and move. And thanks for your time. We needed that. Little things you learn from those initial conversations. Sometimes you got to step out there, get your toe ran over, so you know to step back and pay attention and look both ways before crossing. That's what I learned. And so now, as I move, people ask me all the time, man, you don't really have a good trust level. It's not about trust. It's about wisdom. And the wisdom has taught me to pay attention to what I say, how I say it, and the conversations that I have. Wisdom has also taught me that not to take someone else's path. Listen to them, understand their journey, and then make sure you pave your own way. Some people will give you their roadmap, and that roadmap is 10 years expired, meaning that road doesn't even exist anymore. Or guess what? They built bridges over this road. They've gone, instead of it being a road, it's now a subway train. I mean, it could be so many changes since other people took the same steps you're trying to take. Listen to them, because wisdom is great. Understanding is great. Seeing what they did is great. Seeing what they accomplished is cool. But now you have to take all of that information and understand how to align it with your steps or how it makes sense right now. And we don't talk about these things enough because a lot of people are living someone else's dream, going and taking someone else's steps, and they're getting the mentorship, menteeship thing all wrong. It's because they're thinking and allowing the other person to project all of their moves onto them, and some of those moves are expired. You got to pay attention. You got to understand what's in front of you. You got to understand where you're trying to go and what the world looks like right now. And yes, if that person is still in the game and still has pull, still has understanding of it, yes, let them now help you navigate. But if that person is out of the game, hasn't been doing it in a while, and those first steps they took was 20 years ago, it's going to look different. And we also get addicted to the whole approval thing, seeking approval from these people. And I'll tell you, after that conversation I shared with you, when I was sharing what I've done, what I wanted to do, I wanted that person to be excited with me. That was the expectation. This is exciting stuff. Be excited with me. But they weren't. It seemed very underwhelming to them. Like, oh, that's cute. So you can't walk in with those same expectations or that addiction, that validation approval or addiction or that approval addiction. You have to go into these conversations not needing that, not seeking validation or approval. Information. Information. Take information in, understand what they're trying to tell you, and learn. And that's all it's about right now. When you're in this stage of building your dream, building your passion, chasing what you have as a vision for yourself, you look at all of these things as information. And you have to harness it. You have to write this stuff down. You got to put it somewhere. You got to build a team up around you to make sure that they understand where you're trying to go. Because if you have a team that you have in lockstep and share this vision with, and you're trying to go in a certain direction, if you're aimless, they're going to be aimless too. Which brings me to the next point, which is clarify your vision. Another thing I learned from that conversation was I walked in with pieces. I walked in with a lot of fragments of a vision, fragments of my goal. I knew what I wanted. Like, I can picture myself on stage, in the booth, talking to people. I can picture it. I can see it. I was excited about what I saw for myself. However, and I repeat, however, that person cannot see my movie. That person cannot see my heart. So when I'm speaking out of passion and excitement, and it's fragmented. It's not in a complete picture. I'm not able to accurately, or should I say, I'm not able to directly provide a vision to this person if it's fragmented and it's not in like a coherent setup. And so when you're trying to share something, if someone's like getting bits and pieces of it, they're just lumping you in with everybody else that's doing it, and they're not really hearing you. So now when I have these conversations, I make sure to clarify my vision. I'm not trying to do what anyone else is doing. That's the first convo. First piece, just so you know, I'm not trying to do what anybody else is doing. I'm trying to set myself apart in an industry that's been moving on without me. And guess what? AI exists now. So I see everything that's going on in the world. I've looked at more AI generated LinkedIn posts in the past year than I've seen in my entire AI experience. Because I see what people are doing and I see the direction that AI is moving. There's so much capability now with AI. Somebody can take this video right now and use AI, put a whole different set of words on my voice, and this can be a completely different message in 24 hours. I've seen it. I've seen what's going on in the universe. I've seen a speech that I saw live, and then when it gets online, it's something completely different. I've seen it. I know the world is changing. So in my view, in my mind, I need to change with it. So now that I'm sharing visions, sharing views, sharing goals, sharing a dream, I know that conversation has to be lockstep and coherent. And I also know that I have to clarify. I'm not trying to do what anyone else is doing. And I'm not trying to spend time just to be different for the sake of being different. I want to make sure that the audience is getting what it needs. I want to make sure that I'm feeding the hearts and minds of the people that need the messages. I want to make sure that it's connecting. How do I make it connect? I know that there's all of these tools now that exist that help me. How do I make that happen? How do I reach out to the right people to connect these dots? What certifications do I need? What messaging, what studying do I need to do? Right? So all of these things, vision, lockstep, how do you line yourself up to make sure that you clarify your vision if you're seeking guidance, help, support someone? We'll be right back after this break. 78.6 FM, Positive Vibes with Winsome. There we go. Pushing buttons I shouldn't be. 78.6 FM, positive vibes with Winsome. Hey, so we talked about having a plan when you're going in and having these conversations, or you're seeking out guidance, support for your vision, your dream, your goal that you have for you. And it's not about goal setting today. I'm talking about giving yourself permission to dream. And I think a lot of people don't understand that. They think that some of these dreams that they have for themselves, some of the visions they have for themselves are so unrealistic because they've never had someone tell them that they can. If you can see it, you can be it. There's so little things out here in the world that you can't be at a certain age, right? I tell people all the time, because we have folks come in who've been in their jobs for 6, 7, 10 years, and then they're scared of change. They're scared to do things. They're scared to detour from their current path. And then I ask them, I say, hey, just a question. Why does a detour from your current path scare you? Or what is it about a detour that scares you? And a lot of time, it's time. People have invested time, energy, money, and excessive amounts of time, by the way, into this goal or current path. Even if that path doesn't align with their passions, dream or vision they have for themselves, they've put so much and poured so much into it that now it's like, yo, if I detour from this, man, I wasted all that time. It's okay. Because guess what? Life isn't about straight lines. Sometimes there will be detours. There's going to be reinventing yourself, which is necessary to get to where you want to be. Think about all these people, and Ronnie Ware, I believe her name was, talks about the people who passed away living in regret. I wish I didn't care so much about what other people thought about me. I wish I was happy. I mean, think about these. These are people who live full lives, and at the end of their life, they say, I wish I would have did things for me. I wish I stopped caring about what other people think. I wish I had lived a life focused on happiness instead of what the external world wanted for me. I wished I had made sure I loved on those that I said, I love you. I wish I had did these things. I regret that I didn't. Living in regret. So sometimes, so that you can avoid living in regret, it's important to be in the true belief that you can reinvent yourself. What does that mean? What does reinvent yourself mean? It means that you are not bound or required or obligated to be the same person tomorrow that you were yesterday. You can be absolutely whoever you put your mind to and say that's who you want to be. You can, with the exception, again, there's some age limitations and some physical limitations for some of us. I can't just say, like right now, I want to be an astronaut next week. There's work time and a whole lot of, I wish 20 years ago I would have started it, right? But the goal is, if there's something that you see in your life, in your vision, and ahead of you that you want for yourself, and you have to reinvent yourself to do it, then do so. I spent most of my career behind a desk, typing, answering the phone. 18 out of 27 years were spent behind a desk. Things didn't change until I changed. Things didn't get better until I wanted better. Things didn't actually magically happen. I had to take some significant leaps of faith to make that happen, to get from behind a desk, to get to where I pictured myself being, what I wanted for myself, to be able to have a voice, to be able to change lives, to be able to save lives, to be able to have the courage to stand on stage in front of hundreds of people, and sometimes thousands with people listening online, and share my truth and share my story. That wasn't going to happen with me settling with typing behind a desk. That wasn't going to happen with me accepting where my life was and not making changes. It took me being willing to want and care enough to reinvent myself because the old me was killing me. And I'm going to say that again. The old me was killing me. It was killing my dreams. It was killing my heart. It was killing my mind. It was killing everything about me, my spirit. I was sitting at a desk logging in and sharing the unhappiness of those around me. And we communicated it openly how unhappy we were. And everyone's looking for an extra strategy, but not everyone is taking the steps to change, to walk through that door. because that version of you that you are isn't always going to get the opportunities that you want and need to do something and be something different. You have to change something for those doors to magically present themselves. It's not magic at all. It's you change something in your DNA, not your physical DNA, but your life's DNA, to get these opportunities and to get the attention of the right people and to be in front of someone, the right person, to say, hey, this is who I am and this is what I want and this is what I can do for you. So when I go back to that last segment, when I said sometimes being selfish is not selfish at all, it's very true, because think about some of these people who change their DNA, meaning their whole lives around, to be or to recreate who they are, to be where they want to be. That person understood that in order to get where I want to go, this version of me has to change. It has to be a 2.0. It has to be an upgrade. It has to be, and that can be with school, with training, with the way who you are, your presence, your character, your entire vibe can shift. You can be someone completely different this time next year if you put your heart and your mind to it and you grow that person that you know you need to be. A lot of people settle with who they are and they start to make excuses about what they're doing and who they are. This is who I am. This is who I was born to be. This is who God made me. No, God made you to be great. You are a creation. You are unique and wonderfully made. You can be whoever you want to be based on what is needed of you in any environment you are in. You are. And I say this to people don't understand they are limitless in a whole lot of capacity or a lot of different ranges of definition. You can be, do, and have anything. I've been saying this for years. And so I'm having real conversations with $1 million industries and companies who I literally have a mentor right now who told me, if you took your concepts, bottled them up, built your own platform and just launched on your own, you'd be a millionaire within a year. He said, but you've gotten comfortable relying on other umbrellas. I needed that perspective. I needed his vision. I needed to hear that I can be, do, and have more. Because when you're listening to everyone else around you who's following the same person, who's been following the same path, who's been doing the same thing, you're not seeing, hearing, and understanding these perspectives, opportunities, doors, and growth spaces that you just need to grow into. You don't see it. You don't hear it. You don't have it. And so I encourage you, step outside of your comfort zone. And what that means is, if you're settling, do something that makes you uncomfortable, especially if you know it's going to help you grow. Do something that makes you uncomfortable, especially if you know it's going to get you to the right door. Do something that makes you uncomfortable, especially if you know it's going to have you in front of the right person. It's going to present opportunities. It's going to allow you growth, and not just growth when it comes to career, but growth as a person, growth as a father, sister, mother, brother, growth in general. Do those things that are going to make you better now. So you're not living in the regrets that Bronny talks about these people have shared at the end of their lives, taking their last breaths, the things that they regret that they never did. I don't compare. Stop comparing yourself to successful people and start paying attention to the roadmaps these people took, the effort, the energy, the opportunities they found. When you do it differently, when you approach the world differently, and when you approach this journey differently, you will be different. Because your vision is different. Shout out to my teammates who've been giving me a lot of love and understanding and clarity, and help me understand that it's not about chasing, it's about being. I'm not chasing the vision anymore. I'm trying to be the vision. Dr. Womack said, become a leader. Same thing with anything, become a coach. I'm not chasing how to be a great coach. I'm becoming a coach. I'm doing the things that it takes. I'm understanding. I'm studying. I'm practicing. I'm listening to people differently. I'm understanding. I'm reading up on mindful listening. I'm reading up on active listening. I'm reading up on how to engage. I'm reading up on more emotional intelligence, growth mindsets. I'm reading up on how to put, you notice how many times I just said I'm reading up on? Because the more information that I feed my mind, the more that I can share and help others grow. The more that I grow, the more I can pour into others. I saw that of course, you see the graphic again, right? With the battery packs, you got the one with the full battery pack, and then the one with the empty battery pack. And the one with the full battery pack is taking a cell out of their 5 or 6 batteries, taking one of those cells and handing it to the one that's empty. That speaks life into me. And for the right reasons in the right way, what that's telling you is this person has built themselves up, strengthened their mind, their body, their heart, their lives, to where they can give back to those who are not as strong. Hey, I see you. And guess what? You're not out here in this world by yourself. And I see you need a little bit of energy. So let me give it to you. I had a conversation with my gentleman Terrell up in mainland today. That's exactly what he did. I'm a strong individual. I fight to be strong. I work to be strong. I work on myself daily. But let me tell you, his energy this morning set me off. I was like, woo, I needed that. I'm trying to be that to someone else. And you're giving me some beautiful energy. Thank you. I texted right after, hey, I love this man. That man just gave me the energy I needed to get my day started right. And so now I'm pouring into you. So let me tell you, if you're listening, thank you for listening. 78.6 FM, Positive Vibes of Winsome. Stop chasing validation and start focusing on the road that you want for yourself. Stop worrying about other people's race. Run your own race. Focus on your finish line. Along the way, cheer for others. Others will cheer for you. Fight for the best version of you. Energize yourself. Reset, recharge, and build yourself up. Read more. Take in more information so that you can share more information. It's not just for you to read all these books. People do this the wrong way. I read 20 books. Okay, cool. That's great. But what are you doing with the information? How are you applying it? How are you sharing it? How are you introducing others to this information? I have my whole office right now reading Harvard Business Review books. Everybody in my section is reading these books because of the information that I've shared with them in the past. And then we have conversations and cross and hand off books to each other. That is a beautiful thing. That is creating growth mindsets around you. And yes, I know the source is tight. Yes, I know the source is credible because everybody in these books are authors who are credible in the industry, and the information is invaluable. I'm sharing it with you, thousands of people on the air this morning. Make sure you are building yourself up, because the stronger you are, the better you are, the braver you are. You can show someone else how to be that. You can give someone else the power and the encouragement that they need. You can hand someone else that energy, like I showed you out of the battery pack. Literally and figuratively, you can give someone energy. And when I say give someone energy, did you know people feed off you? Did you know energy is a real thing? The energy you walk into a room, there's a ripple effect that goes along with it. So if you're doing it the right way, you can uplift anybody. And I got to do better. I'm going to tell you, during my day job, I got to do better because I get so focused in on the mission and what we're trying to accomplish. So get in. I love on people hit or miss. Yeah, I make sure I love on my team, and I make sure I give energy in the classroom. But in between that time, I know that my focus is on what's in front of me. So sometimes it's not the full energy like you're getting on the air right now. Every time somebody walks in the office, it's kind of that general, hey, what's up, baby? What can I do for you? But it could be, woo, how do I feed this person the same way Terrell fed me this morning? Every single time. Do I have it in me? And if I don't, how do I get that or charge myself to where I do? Do I owe that to everybody? Yes, if I want to be consistent. And if I pride myself of being a consistent individual, then yes, I got to figure out a way, which is something that I settled on not doing because I knew what we were doing was so powerful. However, if that's a piece of the puzzle and an ingredient that's missing, how do I get back to that? I say all that to say this, man. You got to make sure you're focused on what you need for you so you can be there for others. We'll be right back after this break. 78.6 FM, Positive Vibes of Winston. We're just going to close it out with this last segment. I definitely wanted to mention there are a lot of people in this world right now, some of my friends, some of the people I care about, that practice the worst case scenarios. And what I mean by that is they focus in on the worst case. What's the worst thing that can happen? What's negative that comes out of this? What's the impact, the negative impact if I try this, or if I shoot for this, or if I take that leap of faith, or before I reach out to this person? And that negativity has its own ripple effect on our mind. What it does is it creates a space in our mind that keeps us from taking additional steps. Do you know how many people were one step away from being successful, one step away from meeting their dreams, one step away from probably being a billionaire, one step away from coming up with a discovery, one step because of fear? Not because there's anything proven that will stop them, not because there's a reason not to take that step, but because fear of not just what could happen, it's what has happened in the past when they're comparing it to previous experience, storylines, things that happen to other people. And remember, I told you earlier, do not compare yourself. Comparing the situations. Well, when I did something similar, this happened. No, you're in your head. I'm going to tell you, this is positive vibes, right? So I'm going to say this. If you get past that negative mindset, when you flip it, when you look at what is the best that can happen, what can come from this, what can I build from this, what can I grow from this, who can I become if I do this, where can I go if I take this step? When you flip it like that, things change. Your perspective starts changing. Your approach changes because you tell yourself you owe it to yourself to try. You owe it to yourself to fight. Not, oh, I might fail. Cool. Guess what? Because when you look at that word and you flip that too, if you fail, what is the lesson you learned? If you fail, who wasn't there? If you succeed, who was there? And it's not just succeeding in the full mission. If you succeed in one baby step, who had your back to get that step accomplished? How did you have your own back to take that step? What did you need from yourself? What did you do to get there? What do you need to take more? You see what happens? We get caught in this ripple effect of emotions, this fear of failure, this self-doubt, the allowing past traumas, past people, past experience, allowing it to keep you from moving forward. I tell you this, I say this every episode. If you can't fly, then run. If you can't run, then walk. If you can't walk, then crawl. But whatever you do, keep moving forward, no matter if it hurts, no matter if you're unsure, no matter if you're confused, no matter if someone hasn't shined a light out there for you. You keep moving forward, because after you start getting and climbing and moving, you realize when you look back, the only reason to continuously look back is to hurt your neck. You're looking forward. You're moving forward. And when you get to wherever you needed to get, you can look and realize, I climbed. I took the steps. I fought. I worked past the doubt. I worked past the fear. I worked past the anger. I worked past the pain to get here. And there's times where you're going to have to do it on your own. You can't rely on nobody else. You can't trust other people to share the same dream and the passion and the love that you have for yourself. You have to find it within yourself to have the strength for yourself to get to where you want to be. And it all starts, as we started with this segment, with a vision. Who, what, and where? Who are you trying to be? What does that person look like? Where do you need to go, and what do you need to do to make it happen? Because sometimes we're in that space, we're in our place, and we're comfortable. We've settled. This is who I am. This is where I'm at. This is who I've always been. This is what I've always done. That's a failure, and it is truly an insult to yourself. It's an insult to your life. It's an insult to your future, just like comparison is. When you compare yourself to others, that is an insult to your existence. And when you settle for being where you are and who you are, that is an insult to your future, because you are limiting yourself. You are living limited, you are thinking limited, and you are being limited. So when you change that mindset, when you fight to change that mindset to be better, to do better, and to go farther, everything in your life will change. And sometimes you have to do it alone. Sometimes you have to block out the noise to draw up your plan, to draw up your schedule, to draw up your steps, and then you have to take action. Sometimes what other people want for you is not what you want for yourself. Sometimes other people can't lock into your dream. Sometimes people ain't going to believe in you. Sometimes people are going to throw you off track. Sometimes people are going to distract you. But at all times, you have to focus on your goal, your dream, your vision, and you. You have to love yourself enough to want to get there. You have to fight enough to work and take those steps to get there. You have to be strong enough to block out the haters, the noise, the doubters, and even if that's yourself, to tell yourself sometimes, shut up. Sometimes you have to tell yourself to shut up so you can move in a direction you know is best for you, that you want for you. You have to flip that switch sometimes. 78.6 FM, Positive Vibes of Winsome. I spent a lot of times today telling you I'm not going to goal setting. I'm not talking about setting goals. I'm not talking about vision boards or dreaming or how to get to reverse engineering. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about loving yourself enough to take the steps necessary and needed to be who you really want to be. My life didn't change until I made the decision to change. I had to really tell myself to shut up a couple of times. I had to say, hey, that's not who, this version of me is not good enough to be where I'm trying to go. I have to reinvent myself. I have to change so many things about myself to be the person that I tell myself I want to be. I had to lock into that vision. I had to believe it. I have to want it enough. And I had to really love that vision. I had to fall in love with it. And there's so many reasons that you won't, that I outlined already. Allowing other people to throw you off course, allowing situations to throw you off. But what about when those things happen to you, but you move past them, over them, under them, around them, whatever you need to do to stay and focus on your finish line that you see for yourself and that you want for yourself. And any time there's a hurdle, you've learned so many lessons, you've applied the lessons, and not only are you learning to strengthen yourself, but now the closer you get to your finish line, you notice now how many people who you actually chose to keep in your circle are cheering for you. The people who encouraged you, those people are starting to show up more consistently. The people who gave you those tips, who are doing the things that you want to do for yourself. Oh yeah, you kept them close. Oh, they became mentors. Oh, they became big brothers. Oh, you had them to reach out to when you were on your last leg, when you needed a battery in your battery pack that we talked about earlier. I say all of this to tell you it's in you. And there are people in stories all over the world that started with absolutely nothing. William Hollis sleeping in his car, Tyler Perry being homeless, Oprah getting fired. There are people who started from nothing and built something. There are people right now who have a plan in their mind, have a vision that they have for themselves, but haven't taken that first step. And I know from surviving, from thriving, from growing, that if I can see someone do it that had absolutely $0 in their pocket, when I made the trip to Kosovo with $38 in my pocket and negative $58 in my account, and I realized that it's time to fight back, life is kicking my butt, but I need to go ahead and flex, get in the gym so that I can fight life back. The mental gym, emotional gym, physical gym, every aspect of my life that I needed to change, I needed to flip. You are loved, and there's absolutely nothing you can do about it. Learn the lessons, apply the lessons, and come back stronger than before. 78.6 FM, Positive Vibes of Winsome. I'll see you next week.